Currently, everything at the moment is all about Rishi Sunak. And to be honest, oh, trust me, we are going to be covering Rishi Sunak. Don't get me wrong on this. But I feel as if at the moment it would be nice to give myself a bit of a break. you know, I was expecting maybe Morden to just squeaking over the line, and maybe we would be following a Tory leadership contest. But unfortunately, Rishi Sunak is now in the contest, and it could be the fact that Rishi Sunak is now in number 10 could even affect the fate of Doncaster Sheffield Airport. Now, we'll go over exactly what's going on here and sort of why it would be good to sort of get, Doncaster Sheffield Airport into public ownership, which is great because, we like public ownership, us on the left. So this would be great for the infrastructure for really sort of the Yorkshire area. And I know there are a lot of environmental campaigners who are like cheering this on in some bizarre fashion. But to them, I say this: look, you are closing Doncaster Airport, but what happens to all the people that use Doncaster Airport? Because there were a fair few people who use Doncaster Airport. Like I say, this is very much down to Peel Group recognizing the fact that all this investment, all this infrastructure has been in and built around Doncaster Airport, and they've now gone, we could make a ton of cash by turning this into housing. And that is essentially what they really hope to want to do. They've tried this before at other airports, and they've succeeded in some cases and failed in other cases. I believe it was Glasgow, or was it Liverpool, where they tried a very similar thing. But I think that those airports, like I say, did manage to survive, and I hope Doncaster Airport does survive as well, because to the environmental campaigners cheering this on, closing down, well, where do the users go? They will end up going to Manchester. They'll end up going to Leeds. They'll end up going down to Heathrow. And the reason to then expand those airports becomes even more a bigger economic case, because you need airports like Doncaster functioning, because Doncaster was not just a passenger airport, it's also a cargo airport as well. So really, really good for sort of the infrastructure to have up here in the north. And of course, they've even approved a rail link over to Doncaster Sheffield Airport as well. So the idea that they're just going to close this down, madness. And I do hope it does go into public ownership, to be honest, because it would be a massive, massive boon for the area to do so. But before we go to today talking about Doncaster Sheffield Airport, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, there is the YouTube thank you button, and of course the YouTube subscription Pony Club option, where you get to join that, and you get all sorts of stuff when you subscribe to that. So let's go on over today to the Yorkshire Post covering this. With their title of Doncaster Sheffield Airport. The government have said that public option is an option. Public ownership is an option. And I do hope that they really do go for this, because all, Sheffield Council, Doncaster Council, the Sheffield City region, all very much behind really sort of bringing this into sort of ownership of sort of South Yorkshire. And I think it will be a massive boon to the area if we can do that. So, on with it. So, Peel Group has decided to shutter the airport, which employs about 800 people, due to a, quote, fundamental lack of financial viability, said the operators. It will be wound down from the end of the month. It recently rejected an offer by a £7 million taxpayer-funded loan to keep the Doncaster Sheffield Airport, or DSA as it's known locally, open until next year, and MPs and mayors in the region are now urging the company to sell the airport to another operator. When the issue was first raised in the House of Commons, the Transport Minister, Catherine Fletcher, said that there should be a commercial or local solution. Mrs. Fletcher said that there are a number of publicly owned airports in the UK, including Manchester Airport, Teesside International Airport, which are all controlled by councils or combined authorities. During the debate, she said that there are options available to the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority, which is run by currently the Mayor Oliver Coppard and Doncaster Council. But she also said that the Aviation Minister Claire Vett met with Peel Group on the 19th of October to, quote, strongly encourage them to look at serious and commercial interests and accept taxpayer-funded loans if they needed more time to discuss takeover deals. Peel Group have committed to meet with anybody that can move forward in a medium-term commercial strategy, she added. However, the Shadow Transport Secretary, Lewis Haig, did say that the South Yorkshire Mayoral Authority and local councils cannot buy shares in the airport because the owners are refusing to sell. This is one of the key issues around this. Peel is desperate to hold on to this land. They do not want to let it go. They are willing to let the airport close and infrastructure be degraded and any chance of it being opened again in the future completely removed, she said. The case for action from the government is crystal clear. The use of emergency powers under the Civil Contingency Act is the only possible measure to keep the airport running. Potential investors have made clear to the Secretary of State the refusal to use these powers is creating far greater uncertainty and instability and making the purchase at any point in the future even more unlikely. Ms. Fletcher has said that the act not being used since it was introduced by Tony Blair's government in 2004, and the threshold in this case has not been met because it is not an emergency. Stephanie Peacock, the MP for Barnsley East, said that local leaders have made every effort to keep the airport open, and at every turn these efforts have been met with resistance, she said. And having created a climate of uncertainty, both Peel Group and the government are not using the powers and influence they have to explore every option to ensure the airport's future. She also cited the Transport Secretary Anne-Marie Trevelyan for, quote, taking a hands-off approach and refusing to meet with the local leaders in South Yorkshire and even failing to turn up to the debate in the House of Commons. So, as you can see, this is, I think, going to go with a distance, probably. Will Peel Group succeed? I hope they don't. Like I say, we really do need this airport. Like I say, I've flown from Doncaster many a time, and it is a nice, good, small airport. You know, it's very, very sort of similar to Leeds, but better in many ways. So I really do hope we keep this open because it is a fantastic airport and it would be a massive, massive loss to the infrastructure of the region. And hey, if Rishi Sunak really does, as we've heard that he wants to commit to the 2019 Tory manifesto, then saving DSA and bringing it into public ownership would be a fantastic way to help level up the country. But of course, the big sticking point is it would probably go into sort of, local ownership, into sort of, public ownership. And I think the Tories are desperate not for that to happen because, well, the Tories don't really like public ownership. And you can see the Peel Group themselves using some very very sort of tricky plays, basically try and string this out as much as possible to basically just shutter the airport and just go, well, sorry, it's closed now. Guess we'll have to turn it into houses now, which is what we don't want to happen. Like I say, DSA is a fantastic airport. It's a fantastic credit to the region. I do hope that, we need it. And to be honest, it's not just local South Yorkshire MPs getting involved. It's all Yorkshire MPs getting involved. And even those other MPs that aren't in Yorkshire, maybe from in and around, that have access to, DSA. It's only a short hop away now from places like Nottingham and so forth. So we really need to keep this open. Honestly, we really do. So, like I say, if you are in here or you have flown from DSA or or live near the airport, write to your MP, tell them to save DSA, tell them that the government needs to use these emergency powers to make sure that Peel Group just don't close the airport by stealth by dragging this out. So please, please, please do get involved in the campaign. I think there is a campaign called Save DSA that you can get involved with. I think they do have templates and stuff that you can use to sort of send to your MP. So do get involved with that. And yeah, as always, like I say, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.